Good morning, friends. I'm Sunita Fadkule, professor in mechanical engineering, working at JSPM Jaywantrao Sawant College of Engineering, Hadapsar, Pune. This is our video lecture number 30. Today's topic is numericals on rotating unbalance. Learning outcome is you will be able to analyze the balancing technique for rotating unbalance. So we are going to solve two problems to analyze the rotating unbalance. This is our syllabus content. This is course outcome number 4. Let us see the recap. What we have learned in earlier lecture. So we have seen what do you mean by balancing. So it is the technique of correcting or eliminating the unwanted inertia forces and moments in rotating machineries. Okay. So balancing is classified into two categories. Balancing of rotating masses and balancing of reciprocating masses. And third category is combine of these two. Let me take so balancing of rotating masses, it is given by centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is nothing but the unbalanced force, which is given by mr omega square. So there are two types of balancing, static balancing and dynamic balancing. Static balancing means we have to take summation of forces is equal to 0, and dynamic balancing means summation of all the couples is equal to 0. Once we get the dynamic balancing, automatically static balancing occur. Okay. Now, we have also learned balancing of single revolving mass. Okay, we have learned 4 cases. First was in the same plane. Second was in the two planes. Third was balancing of several masses revolving in the same plane. Two methods we have seen, graphical and analytical. Then we have also seen what do you mean by reference plane. Okay, so with the help of a reference plane, we can shift one mass to the plane, the mass in the reference plane, by fulfilling these two conditions. Summation of mr is equal to 0. That means summation of forces is equal to 0. And second is summation of couples is equal to 0. That is summation of m into r into L is equal to 0. Okay, here omega square we have dropped because omega square is common in all the terms. Okay, so these are the two conditions. Summation of forces is equal to 0. Summation of couples is equal to 0 about the reference plane. Like this, we can take reference plane at any cross section of the shaft. Okay, now let us see problem number 1. So in this problem number 1, see, this is the diagram. Okay, this is the convention that how to show the unbalanced masses at eccentricity. Okay, so let us read the problem. 3 masses of 8 kg, 12 kg and 15 kg attached at radial distances 80 mm, 100 mm and 60 mm respectively to a disc on a shaft are in complete balance. That means there are 3 unbalanced these masses, okay, which are attached to the, see, this is the convention has to be shown. Okay, these are at a certain distance. This is the shaft length. Okay, these are the unbalanced masses and this is an eccentricity. These are all revolving around the shaft. And this system is in the complete balance. We have to determine the angular positions of the masses of 12 kg and 15 kg relative to the 8 kg mass. Okay, this problem is from the book Theory of Machine by Ratan. Okay, so all these masses, now if you see the side view of this diagram, this is the front view. Okay, in the side view, you can see the angular position of the masses. Okay, now for mass M1, we can take the angular position 0. That means what? Along the positive x-axis. Okay, that is 0. Then with respect to M1, we have to find the angular positions of M2 and M3. Okay, so this is the given data. M1, M2, M3 are given. It is given that system is in complete balance. R1, R2, R3 are given. There is nothing but the eccentricity. Theta 1 is 0 degree, we have assumed. And now we have to find out theta 2 and theta 3. Okay. So as omega square is common in all the terms, what we take summation of F is equal to 0. That means what? Summation of M into R is equal to 0. Okay. And summation of couple is equal to 0. Here also M into R into omega square into L is equal to 0. So omega square is common. Okay. But here we don't require to determine the couples. Okay, because the problem is based on static unbalance, because just for balancing the forces, we will get this theta 2 and theta 3. So no need to go for balancing, couple balancing, okay, or couple equation. Now we have to draw the force vector diagram to represent all three centrifugal forces of the three masses. Okay. Now you know, if the system is in complete balance, that means its force polygon and its couple polygon must be closed. Okay. So let us find out the magnitude of the forces. What is the first force? F1 given by this mass M1 and R1 and omega square. So F1 is equal to M1 R1. It is basically MR omega square, but as I told you, omega square we never consider because it is present in every term. So F1 is equal to M1 R1. M1 is given 8 kg, R1 is given 80 mm. So F1 is 640 Newton. Like this, we have found out F2 and F3. Okay. So magnitudes are known to us, F1, F2, F3. Now what about the direction? That only we have to find out, no? F1 direction we have in 0 degree. And for F2 and F3 direction we have to find out. Okay. So what is the procedure to draw the force polygon? First thing, we have to prepare the table to represent all the data. This table is common in all problems. So this is the table. These columns are also very typical columns are there. First column is of plane. So how many planes are there? As there are three masses, there will be three planes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So in plane number 1, there is a mass 8 kg at a radius 80 mm. Okay. Like this, for mass M2 and M3, we have written M and R. And now what is the force? Already we have calculated F is proportional to M into R. Okay. So we have taken the product of this one, multiplication of these two. Okay. So 8 into 80, that is 640. So this is the force column, which is given in Newton. Okay. And last column is of angular position, which is given in terms of theta. So we have assumed that mass M1 is at an angle 0 degree, and theta 2 and theta 3 are unknown. Okay. Now, as there are three vectors, we will get a triangle as a force polygon. Okay. Now we have to draw this triangle. Okay. So let us see how I have drawn this triangle. I have to explain you now. For this, always to draw this force polygon, we have to consider two things: direction and magnitude. Okay. See, if you consider that these are the three vectors, only for vector number 1, we know magnitude also and we know direction also. So we can draw this vector. What's the direction? 0 degree. That means along the positive x-axis, magnitude is 640 Newton. So we have to take the scale. What scale we have taken? 1 centimeter is equal to, sorry, it is AMO. 1 centimeter is equal to 200 Newton. So what is the length of this one? 640 divided by 200. Okay, that is 3.2 centimeter. So first step is we have to take a pole, okay, or any point, name it as O. So from this pole now, we have to draw a vector to represent this force, that is this magnitude, and this is the angle. Okay. So from this pole, we are drawing the vector towards right as a horizontal line. Why? Because angle is 0 degree and this length is 3.2 centimeter, because this is representing 640 Newton. Okay. So from 0 to 1, we have drawn a vector. Okay. Now, what about these two forces? We know magnitude. This is of 1200 Newton. This is of 900 Newton. But we don't know direction. In which direction this vector has to be drawn? Theta 2 is also unknown. Theta 3 is also unknown. Okay. So how to do? See, in your compass, you have to take a distance of 900 Newton, means 900 divided by 200. Okay, that is 4.5 centimeter. And from, we have to keep one end of the compass here and mark an arc here. Okay. So on this arc somewhere, this point will be there of this vector. Okay. Then taking your compass distance 1200, means what? 1200 divided by 200, that is 6 centimeter. Keep one leg here of compass and mark an arc here. So intersection of this arc and this arc will give you point number 2. Okay. Once we get point number 2, intersection of two arcs. Draw a line from 1 to 2, okay, and then 2 to 0. So this will give you the direction of force number 2, F2, and this is direction of F3. Understood? Because it should be a closed polygon. How I close it? How I am getting the polygon? 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Now it is a closed polygon because our system is balanced. Okay. So now you have to measure you got the answer. You have to measure the angles. How to measure the angles? See, this is the vector. So this is the starting point of the vector. This is end of the vector. Always angle has to be measured from the start of the vector. So at the start of the vector, draw a horizontal line. That means extend this line. Keep your angle protractor here and measure this angle. This is 79 degree. Okay, so this is nothing but your theta 2 because this is your vector F2. Okay, you got the answer. So theta 2 is equal to 79 degree. Now we have to measure the angle for this vector, that is of F3. Okay, this represent theta 3. Okay, not this one. Always you have to start from vector. For this vector, this is end point, this is starting point. So at the starting point, draw a horizontal line. And from positive x-axis, measure this angle. Okay, so with the help of angle protractor, you can measure this angle, that is 227.4 degree. This is nothing but the theta 3. Okay, so measuring the angle of these two vectors, we get theta 2 is equal to 79 degree and theta 3 is equal to 227.7 or 227.4 degree. Understood? So these are our answers. Now see, the interesting point is that there is no one answer. Depending on which side you are balancing, okay, you can draw this vector on this side also. So there will be one more solution, or in this here instead of 900, you can take in your compass 1200 distance here and 900 here. So like this you will get the triangle. Or here also you can get like this triangle. 900 here, 1200 here, or 1200 here, 900. So there is no one solution. Okay, this is called as an open-ended problem. There can be different solutions for balancing. You can balance this system by different ways. There are 4 possible ways. Understood? So this was a very simple problem. Now, problem number 2. Okay, see the statement is very lengthy. Sometimes they don't give the diagram, so we have to draw the diagram. Now here diagram is not given, we have to draw it. Okay, actually in 99% cases diagram will be given to you. Okay, this problem is from Ratan. Okay, actually in every problem you have to draw the configuration diagram like this. This is a very simple way to draw this diagram. Okay, I have not drawn this, but when you will solve this problem in your notebook, for every problem you have to draw a diagram like this. That means first you have to draw the length of the shaft. Okay, then represent whatever the unbalanced masses are there. Okay, name then M1, M2, M3, M4, etc. Then name R1, R2, R3, etc. Okay, and then show the distances between the two masses. That is L1, L2, L3, etc. Okay. Now, let us read the problem. Problem number 2. A rotating shaft carries 3 unbalanced masses. Okay, 4 kg, 3 kg, and 2.5 kg. Oh, 1 second. Then these masses are at radial distances of 75 mm, 85 mm, and 50 mm. That is R1, R2, and R3. Okay, and at the angular positions of 45 degree, 135 degree, and 240 degree respectively. That means M1, M2, M3 are given, R1, R2, R3 are given, and theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 are also given. Okay, the second and the third masses are in the planes of 200 mm and 375 mm from the plane of the first mass. Okay, that means their distances are given from each other. See, this is the almost 3-dimensional diagram. This is your shaft length. Okay, this is first mass, second mass, third mass. Okay, so what is the distance of the second mass from the first mass? It is given 200 mm. The distance of third mass from the first mass is given, that is 375 mm. Okay, and their angular positions are also given. Those are shown here. Angular position of the first mass is 45 degree. Second mass is 135 degree. See, reference we have taken this positive x-axis. So this is first mass. This is second mass at 135 degree from the positive x-axis. This is the third mass at 240 degree from the positive x-axis. Okay, so these are the three masses. Then the distances are given. Then the angular positions are measured counterclockwise from the reference line along x-axis, viewing the shaft from the first mass. Okay. Then the shaft length is 800 mm between the bearings, and the distance between the plane of the first mass and the bearing at that end is 225 mm. Okay. What is given? That the distance between the two bearings. See, here there are two bearings. This is and this one. Two bearings are there. So distance between the two bearings is 800 mm. Okay. And what is given? That the distance from the left hand side bearing up to the first mass is 225 mm. Okay. This distance is given. So that is 225 mm. Determine the amount of counter masses in planes at 75 mm from the bearings for complete balance of the shaft. Okay. So there are, see, we have to determine the amount of counter masses. Means we have to balance the system in two planes. There is not only one plane. It is in our hand. We can select one plane also to balance the system, or we can select two planes also. Okay. Now they have mentioned two planes. Okay. So determine the amount of counter masses. That means MC1 and MC2 we have to determine. What do you mean by MC1? Counter mass number 1, which is acting in one plane, and MC2, that is counter mass number 2, which is acting in other plane. And the system is in complete balance. So this distance is 75 mm. Which distance? Counter masses in planes at 75 mm from the bearings. Okay, let us see. These are the two bearings. This is left hand side bearing. So counter mass plane is at 75 mm from this bearing. Okay, this is your plane number, say L, okay, or C1. And this is plane number 2, that is C2, which is also at a 75 mm from the bearings. Okay, so we have to balance the system by providing here MC2 at this plane C2, which is 75 mm from right hand side bearing, and other plane is here also we have to provide MC1, which is at a distance 75 mm from left side bearing. Okay, so like this, how many planes are there now? Mass number 1, 2, 3. These are the three planes, and then counter mass MC1, MC2, which we have to provide to balance the system. So like this, there are 5 planes. Understood? So let us go further. The first counter mass is to be in the plane between the first mass and the bearing. Okay. And the second mass in the plane between the third mass and the bearing at that end. That means what? See, the first counter mass is between the bearing and first mass. That's why we have shown here at 75 mm. And the second counter mass is placed between right hand side bearing and mass number 3 at 75 mm from the bearing. Okay. So distances are given. What the take radius of first counter mass at 75 mm and second counter mass at 40 mm. Okay. So this is at a distance R1, that means RC2 and RC1 is given, that is eccentricity. This is at 75 mm, okay, and this is at, so that means this is at 75 mm and this is at 40 mm, okay. Now let us see, whatever the data is given, no, we have to write down in given format, in given notation. This problem is also from Ratan, Theory of Machine by Ratan. So what's the given data? M1 is given, M2 is given, M3 is given. Okay. Then their distances are given. That means eccentricity R1, R2, R3. Their angular positions are given. That is theta1, theta2, theta3. Okay. 45, 135 and 240 degree. Then the you can say the linear distances are given. That means along the length of the shaft. Distance between plane mass 1 and 2, that is 200 mm. Distance between mass 1 and 3, that is 375 mm. Then distance between the bearings, that is 800 mm. Then distance from bearing of first mass, that is 225 mm. Then distance of C1, that means the counter mass from mass number 1, that is 75 mm. Then distance of counter mass to MC2 from third mass, that is 75 mm. Okay, and then eccentricity of mass number 1, the MC1 is 75 mm, and eccentricity of MC2, that is 40 mm. And what is unknown? We have to determine MC1, MC2, theta C1, theta C2. Understood? That means their unbalanced, whatever the masses we have to provide to balance the system, and at what angle, their angular positions. These 4 unknowns are there. Okay. So sometimes we have to balance. It is given that either in one plane or a different planes. Don't worry. You don't have to think. Okay. Now see, these 2 diagrams we have seen now. Diagram number A and diagram number B. This is nothing but the configuration diagram. That is all the data, whatever is given in the problem, that is shown here. Okay. Now, we have to draw 2 polygons. First is couple polygon. Second is force polygon. In 99% cases, we have to draw first couple polygon and then force polygon. We cannot draw first force polygon because there are more unknown. Okay, you cannot complete the force polygon. Okay, but couple polygon you can complete. Why? That we'll see later on. Understood? So first you have to draw the couple polygon. Okay, now how to draw this couple polygon? See, this is the table. As I told you, you have to first prepare the table. These are the different columns of the table. What are these columns? First column is always of plane. So how many planes are there? C1 and C2 are the 2 planes wherein we have to provide the masses to balance the system. That is MC1 and MC2. And then these are the 3 masses. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now, second column is of mass. Okay, what are the masses in these different planes? That is in kg. So this is unknown, that is MC1. This is also unknown, that is MC2. And these masses are given to us, M1, M2, M3, that is 4 kg, 3 kg, 2.5 kg. Okay. Then this third column represent eccentricity, that is R, radius. Okay, that is in mm. So that is all radii are given for all these masses. Okay. The fourth column is force. Now force is equal to actually mr omega square. But as I told you, we don't consider omega square because that is going to be cancelled out every time because we are considering the equivalent. Okay. So F is proportional to m into r. Okay. So this column is just product of these 2 values. Okay. So m into r. So MC1 into 75. It will give this term, this value. Then 4 into 75, 300. 3 into 85, 255. 2.5 into 50, 125. Then MC2 into 40, that is 40 MC2. Okay. Now, what is the 5th column? This is here only you have to apply your brain. You have to think here. Okay. Because now you have to apply here the concept of reference plane. There are 5 planes. Where to choose the reference planes? Either of any one of these one or anywhere. See, this is your configuration diagram. Okay, you have to select the reference plane. You can select along the any length of the shaft, but it is always convenient to select the plane at any mass because we know the distances from each other. Okay, now here we have selected the reference plane at C1. Okay, why C1? That we'll see. Okay, so why C1? Now let us look at the force column. There are 2 unknown, correct? Now see, if we try to draw the force diagram, as there are 5 vectors and our system is balanced, so we must get closed polygon, but I cannot complete or I cannot close the polygon because I cannot draw this vector and this vector. These 2 vectors I cannot draw because I don't know their magnitude and their angles also. So I cannot draw force polygon. Okay. So what is my aim? If I could eliminate one unknown I can draw the other polygon. That's why we have to take a reference plane either at C1 or at C2. Okay, because all the moments are taken from that reference plane. So naturally, if I take the reference plane at C1, what is the moment of this force along C1? 0. That means this unknown will be eliminated. If I take this as a reference plane C2, what will happen? The moment of this force about C2 is 0. So this would be 0 then in that case. So either you take this as a reference plane or this as a reference plane, so that one unknown will be eliminated. Okay, so that I can draw the couple polygon. Okay, so as far as possible, second rule is that you have to take the reference plane on left hand side. Okay, why on left hand side? That will eliminate the negative say couples. Okay, I will tell you the how to consider the sign of the negative couple or positive couple. Okay, so here I have taken the reference plane at C1. So the fifth column will be representing distances of all the planes from reference plane. Okay, so what is for C1? The distance of C1 from C1 is 0. Okay, that is a reference plane only. Now, what is the distance of mass number 1 from reference plane? Let us go to the diagram. See, this is mass number 1 and this is your reference plane. Okay, how much is this distance? See, mass number 1 is at a distance 225 from bearing, and C1 plane is at 75 mm from bearing. So how much is this one? 225 minus 75, that is 150. Okay, so I have written here 150. The distance of mass number 1 from C1 is 150. Okay, now the distance of C2 from reference plane. Okay, here please remember, in this length column we have to write down the distances from reference plane only, not between each other. Okay, so what is the distance of now mass number 2 from reference plane? Let us see here. See, the distance between mass M1 and M2 is 200. Okay, and how much is this? We have found out 150. So the distance of M2 from C1 is 150 plus 200, that is 350. Okay, so we have written 350 here. Now what is the distance of M3 from RP? Let us go to the diagram. This is your M3. The distance is given from M3 and M1, that is 375, plus this 150 is your distance from 3 to plane number 1. Understood? 375 plus 150. Okay, how much it is? 525. Okay, now the distance between the C2 from C1, how much it is? See here, this is C2 and this is C1. How do you calculate? You know the distance between two bearings, it is given 800. Then C1 plane is at 75 mm from left hand side bearing, C2 plane is at 75 mm from the right hand side bearing. So 800 minus 75 minus 75, that will give the distances between C1 and C2. Understood? So 800 minus 75 minus 75, this will give you 800 minus 150, that is 650. So the distance between C1 and C2 is 650. Understood this column? Very important. Here only you have to think where to take the reference plane, then further thing is automatically mechanical. Okay, now the sixth column is couple. So couple is equal to force into distance, that is F into L. What is F? Mr omega square, but we have to neglect omega square because that is common in every term. So what we have to take? Couple is proportional to MRL. Now already this column represents the product MR. Multiply by this column. Okay, you will get MRL. So this column is nothing but multiplication of these two columns. Understood? So 75 MC1 into 0, 0. Then these two is product of this one. So like this, the last column, last row is 40 MC2 into 650, that is 26,000 into MC2. These are the magnitudes of couples. Okay, and these are the directions. We know already given. Now here, see, there is only one unknown. This is 26,000 MC2. And I must get closed couple polygon because my system is balanced. I can draw this. Okay, so though I don't know magnitude and direction of this one, okay, I can draw the couple by closing the polygon. Understood? So how many vectors are there? See, this is 0 only. So there are only 4 vectors. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my couple polygon will be nothing but the, you can say, quadrilateral. Okay. Now let us draw. So what is the procedure? Prepare table 2. We already prepared the table 2. Then select a reference plane RP at C1. I told you the reason. To eliminate 2 unknowns out of 4. There are 4 unknowns basically. MC1, theta C1, MC2, theta C2. So by selecting the reference plate at C1, we have eliminated MC1 and theta C1. That is 2 unknowns we have eliminated. Okay. And the other reason is reference plane should be as far as possible on left hand side so that negative couples are avoided. Okay. Then what is the next procedure? In a column of length, write distances of all the planes from reference plane that we have written. Okay. Now we have to draw couple polygon by taking suitable scale. Now what scale you will take? How to decide? See this value. 45,000, 89,250, 65,625 and 26,000 into MC2. So in your say sketchbook, okay, or a drawing sheet, you will be in the examination, you will be given half imperial size drawing sheet. Okay, so don't worry about the size. Half imperial size sheet will be given. But right now you have to solve this problem in your sketchbook, which is of A3 size. Okay, so see how much centimeter length you can accommodate on your page. Accordingly, you have to take the scale. So I have seen that you can accommodate, you can take the scale 1 centimeter is equal to 10,000 Newton meter. Okay, so that means maximum is this one 89,250 divided by 10,000, 8.9 centimeter. That means around 9 centimeter you can accommodate in A3 size sketchbook. That's why I have taken a scale of 10,000 Newton meter. That is equal to 1 centimeter. Okay. Then what is the next step? Closing side of the couple polygon represent. Now we have to draw the couple polygon. Let us see here how to draw the couple polygon. Okay, here this is the couple polygon. Okay, now how to, from where to start? Okay, see this is your starting point. Sorry, this is your starting point. Okay, so first you have to draw this diagram, this vector. Okay, this is M1, R1, L1. Understood? See, sequence is immaterial. I can draw any vector first, either this or this or this. You will get the same answer. Okay, but as far as possible, what is convenient to us? Go in anti-clockwise direction from 0 to 360. Okay, that will avoid the crossing of the lines. Okay, so that's why, see, this angle is less, 45 degrees, then 135, then 240. Okay, so you can start, you can draw first this vector, then this vector, then this vector, and then closing side will be this vector. Understood? So now I have to draw this couple, which is having magnitude 45,000 Newton meter, that is say 4.5 centimeter length at an angle of 45 degree. Okay, every time you don't have to measure the angle. Okay, here you have to draw this or initially only you have to take draw this diagram. That means take initial point O, and from O you have to draw vector at an angle 45 degree. Understood? 45 degree from positive x-axis, and how much is the length? 4.5 centimeter. That represents 45,000 Newton meter. So that is nothing but M1, R1, L1. So what is the value of M1, R1, L1? Here is 45,000 Newton meter. Understood? How we have drawn first vector? Okay. Now this is point number 1. So this is O1. Understood? Now we are here. Now we have to draw second vector. M2, R2, L2. What is this angle? See, this angle is given 135. Okay. So magnitude is 89,250 Newton meter. Angle is 135 degree. So 89,250 divided by 10,000, it will give you 8.92 centimeter. So you have to draw a vector of length 8.9 centimeter at an angle 135 degree. Angles are always from positive x-axis. So you keep here, draw a rough line here, keep your angle protractor here, draw a line at 135 degree angle, this line, okay? And how much is the length of this vector? 8.92 centimeter. So you will get this point. Now you are here, point number 3. What you need to draw the vector? Only magnitude and direction, nothing else. Vector diagram is actually very easy. If you know the direction and magnitude, you can draw the vector. Okay, so this is vector 01, then this is 1, 2. Okay, now you are here. Now you have to draw third vector representing M3, R3, L3. What is this angle? From here it is angle 240. See, either you can, every time you measure angle R, see here, angular positions are given. Okay, so you have to draw a line parallel to this one for first mass, parallel to this one for second mass, and parallel to this one. That is for third mass. So you need not measure the angle every time. Here you can draw the angles, and you can, using your roll and draw, you can draw this vector. Okay, now we have to draw this vector. Let us see what is the magnitude of M3, R3, L3. 65,625 divided by 10,000 will give you 6.56 centimeter. What is the angle? 240. Always measuring from the positive x-axis. So now we are here. So draw horizontal line here. From positive x-axis, measure the angle 240 degree. And along this, draw a line. And what is the length of this line? This vector, that is 6.52 centimeter. Understood? This is point number 4. Okay. See, we have started from O. O1 representing first couple. 1, 2 representing second couple. 2, 3 representing third couple. Okay. Now this is open polygon. Initial point is here. Final point is here. Okay. And this vector is remaining still. This vector for which we don't know magnitude also, because MC2 is unknown, and we don't know direction also because theta C2 is unknown. Okay, but we know that system is completely balanced. That means we must get close polygon. So this is final point, this is initial point. You draw a vector to close this side from point number 4 to 1. Okay, so this will give you the vector MC2, RC2, LC2. Okay, so measure the length of this vector. Certain centimeter it will be there, no? Suppose it will be whatever 5 centimeter. Okay, now how to convert it into this one? See, 5 centimeter suppose. That will represent this magnitude, 26,000 MC2. Okay, see here. So 26,000 MC2 is what? Your vector length, suppose 5 centimeter. Into scale, because centimeter is scale. Actually, our couple is in Newton meter. We have taken 10,000. 1 centimeter is equal to 10,000 Newton meter. So 26,000 MC2. This is equal to vector length, whatever you are getting, 4 centimeter, 5 centimeter, whatever, into scale, that is 10,000. Okay. So scale is known to you, vector length is known to you, MC2 is unknown. Okay. Find out MC2. That we are getting 2.9 kg. Understood? So we got MC2. How to measure now this theta C2? 329 degree we are getting. I told you how to measure the angle. See, this is the vector representing that MC2. Okay. This is start of the vector. This is end of the vector. So to measure the angle of this vector, draw a horizontal line at the start of the vector. Okay. And from positive x-axis, measure this angle. Okay, or you can measure it from the say by keeping the angle protracted downward also, and then subtract it from 360 degree. So from here to here, that is nothing but 329 degree. Understood? So we got 2 unknown values of 2 unknown. We got MC2. We got theta C2. Okay. So put the value of MC2 here. Now you get this force. MC2 40 into MC2, that is 2.9 kg. Now this vector is not unknown. Magnitude we know, direction also we know. Now we can draw the force polygon. Understood? So what is the next step? Draw the force polygon by taking suitable scale. Now how to decide the scale? Let us go to the force column. See, these are the forces. Okay, this is 300 Newton, 255, 125 Newton, and this is 40 into 2.9. That means around 120 Newton. Okay, so what scale you will take? Suppose I have taken 1 centimeter is equal to 50 Newton. Okay, so 300 divided by 50, you will get 6 centimeter length. Maximum length is 6 centimeter. Okay, so that is convenient to draw in the plain paper or your A3 size sketch book. Okay, now we have to draw the force polygon. So how many vectors will be there? See, couple polygon was what you can say quadrilateral. Okay, because one vector was 0, so there were only four vectors. But in couple polygon, there will be 5 vectors. So you will get pentagon. Okay. This is known to you now. Now only this is unknown. MC1 is unknown and theta C1 unknown. Now to draw force polygon, again you have to follow the same procedure. What is that? See here. This is your force polygon. What is the first step always? You have to take a pole. O. So this is a pole or origin where you start force polygon. Okay. Now from here, this vector represent M1 R1. What you need? How much the length of this vector and at what angle? Already it is given. See here. What is the value of M1 R1? 300 Newton. 300 divided by 50. That is 6 centimeter. The length of your vector is 6 centimeter. What's the angle? 45 degrees. Okay. So draw this vector at 45 degree from positive x-axis, getting taking length 6 centimeter, or you can draw, see this one 45 degree. So you can draw a parallel line to this line using roll and draw, and you can draw this vector. So 0 to 1. Understood? Now you are here. Now you have to draw second vector. What's the magnitude? M2R2. What's the direction? 135. So either you draw a line parallel to this 135. Okay, just take roll and draw a parallel line. How much is the length now for this vector? See here. Here 255. So 255 divided by 50. Okay, it will give you approximately suppose 1.5 centimeter. Angle is 135. So from this point number 1, you draw a vector at an angle 135 degree of length 255 Newton. Okay, that means around 1.25 centimeter. Now you are here. Okay, so this is O1, 1, 2. Now you have to draw third vector representing third force, M3R3. What is the value of M3R3? See here, M3R3, here 125. Okay, so 125 divided by 50, it is approximately how much? 0.6 centimeter. And what is the angle? 240 degree. Okay, so either you draw this line, this vector parallel to this 240, already we have drawn this one 240 degree, or in your protractor, angle protractor, keep here, from here measure the angle 240, and along that 240 degree draw this vector. You know length, you know direction. Now you are here, point number 4. So we have drawn O1, 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay. Now you have to draw fourth vector representing this. This one. Representing C2 plane. What is the force acting along? All these are centrifugal forces which are acting outwards. That's why we are drawing the vector along the direction in outward direction. So what is this magnitude? 40 into 2.9. We got something, some 120 Newton suppose. And you know the angle theta C2. Okay, that is 329 degree. Okay, so this into, so from here now, you are here now, point number 3. Okay, So from here, you have to draw the vector along this direction. Now you already know this one. So parallel to this line, draw this line. Or you know the answer, it is 329 degree, no? So keep here your angle protractor, measure the angle 329 degree. Okay, sorry, from here. Keep your angle protractor here, measure the angle 329 degree and draw this vector. What is the length? MC2 into that one that we have found out. Okay, so this is the length and this is the direction. Now you are here. So what we have drawn? O1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Okay. Now see, this is your, we have finished now. We have drawn already 4 polygon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to draw this vector, which is unknown in magnitude also and direction also. But we know polygon must be closed because it is a balanced system. So this is starting point. This is end point. What you have to do now? Just continue here as we went from this direction. Join this end point with starting point. This direction will give you the direction of F, that is MC1. Okay. How to, and this length will give you the magnitude of that force. Okay, or that M1. So how to measure the angle? This is the start of the vector. This is the end of the vector. Keep your angle protractor here. From positive x-axis, measure this angle. This is nothing but 253 degree. So I get theta C2. That is 253 degree. Now I have to calculate MC1. Okay. So how much is this length representing? This is MC1 into RC1, force. Okay. So measure this length. It may be suppose 3.5 centimeters, suppose. Okay. So how to find out MC1 now? See here. Closing side of the polygon represents, so this is vector length. Suppose that length I am getting, suppose 3.5 centimeter into scale, that is 50. This will represent 75 MC1. Why 75 MC1? See here. This is 75 MC1. This is unknown magnitude. Okay. So 75 MC1 is equal to length of the vector into scale will give you MC1, that is 3.13 kg. And angle already we have measured 253 degree. Understood? So this is the problem. And see, unless and until you solve this problem in your notebook, you will not understand. When I am explaining the problem, you will understand. But when you try to solve it, you will not be able to solve it unless and until you have the practice of solving the problem. So friends, please solve this problem in your sketchbook. I already told you everybody has to bring A3 size sketchbook, which you are using in engineering drawing, okay, in first year, and you have to bring the this compass also, okay, that is pencil, rubber, angle protractor, roll and draw, and eraser and scale. All these things you will be needed. Okay. So this is the force couple polygon, force polygon, and these are the diagram. Okay, understood? Now in the next lecture, we will be solving two difficult problem. This was a simple problem. Okay. So in next lecture, that is on Monday, we will be solving two problems on rotating unbalance, and that will be completing our rotating unbalance. Understood? After that, we are going to study balance in balancing of reciprocating masses. Okay. So thank you very much.